This is the Milne Road Studios production with Mr. Shaun Evans.
Howdy, yes, man. How are we?
Not bad, Shawnee.
Not bad. Monday again.
Tuesday.
Oh, even Tuesday. Wow, how well am I going? Happens at my age. Cannot remember the days. That's not Saturday.
Well, it's the first day after Easter's finished, so it feels like a Monday. How are you anyway, mate?
Good, mate. Good. How'd Easter go for you?
Pretty good. Shut up to Mannum on Sunday and
Nice.
Had a few beers up there looking out over the River Murray there. And
Yes.
No, we made sure we got a few mozzie bites, and it was a great view. He's got a great big elevated deck there, and it looks straight out to the south of the main street.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Goes round to the left, and we're just round to the right.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Come on!
Did you hear that from down the road? Or you?
We just heard come on everywhere, mate. So we had a little bit of rain Sunday night up there, which was good.
rain.
A little bit of spittle
Bloody
up there,
hell.
and that looked good. That sounded good on the roof. And
Yeah. So a couple of cans consumed, no doubt?
Sure did. Sean did. What about, what'd you get up to, mate?
Look, just mainly spent my time like Jesus over Easter and just hung around.
Walked around in your Jesus sandals.
Exactly, with my thorns in my head. No, I watched, sat down, daughters went down to their other grandmas, so I don't see that often. So Sunday was a footy marathon.
Murray Sontag, you sat and watched it all day, did you?
Just watched the footy all day, and I got into the power game. That was needed some Panadol after that finished. That was pretty ordinary, but other than that, yesterday went up my sister's place for lunch, which was nice, and she went and got mum out of the nursing home, so we all got together and
good stuff.
All the kids and sisters and whatever and family, and mum filled herself up because she said the food's way better than the nursing home, so she had about 48 mini pies and went home. So
she's now constipated, poor old thing. So
yeah,
that's
they
good.
can't work out why she's ill, but no, but a great family day, just to get together and get all the kids together as well, the cousins, and had a good day. So no, look, Easter was good, bit of a good break as well, watching some footy. So had a good time. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, that's what it's about. It's a good break, that one. You get
Yes.
this extra day either side, so you've got 2 long weekends that back each other up.
Well,
so
we've got gather round this weekend.
here it goes again. Doesn't really stop, does it? Till
No.
the King's birthday now
No,
in June.
Yes.
So I think we've still got one in May and one in June to go, haven't we? Long weekend.
Would there be Anzac Day or was that on a Saturday?
It's on a Saturday this year.
Right, so no public holiday. I heard
So
that
that'll
Mally said no to that.
Well, it falls on the day. It falls on the day.
Yeah.
I'm a believer of that too. So I think that's
Yeah.
it's about them, isn't it? It's not about everybody
absolutely.
else. It's about us.
Absolutely. And
Lest we
Victoria,
forget.
New South Wales all decided to do a public holiday, I think, down the eastern seaboard.
Is that right?
On the Monday, yeah. We said no. So Mally said it was about the soldiers and the day. And
There you go. Backs it up, doesn't it?
I actually respect that decision, to be honest. So
Yeah, I think it falls on the day. It falls on the day. If it's a Saturday,
Yeah.
it's irrespective, isn't it?
well, it's called Anzac Day, not Anzac Weekend.
That's right. It's not to do with Australian time off. It's to do with lest we forget. So no, good for him.
Yeah, no, I think Mally's done the right thing there.
And we got rid of Bob's wonder stick. That one's gone. The windscreen wiper's gone.
I said to you, what do we do with this now?
You could
Do
probably
we,
grab that little timber knife over there. That might be a bit better.
you want me to go from a stick to a knife? I'm not sure.
Yeah, in the plastic cup.
Righto. Here we go. Oh, that's a pen.
There you go.
Bear with us, folks.
Try
there
that.
we go.
That might be a bit nicer.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Bobby, we've still managed to get a prop, so we won't have to lean forward. So long as Bob's happy, he's one of our main listeners, Bob.
That's right. No, he's part of it. So he's been on this interview before. So he's one of the brothers. And what is today? Episode 100.
100.
Give
100.
Give it
It's
some.
a very special episode today, and I went. Well, actually, we went through. I went through the other day, just through on YouTube, watching some of the old ones. And the thing that I admire about what we do and what you've done with this whole thing, even going back years ago with Magic and everything. You've just brought people together, like Dodgers community people. You've brought them in, you've let them have their say and found out what their lives are, and you've really made it a special thing. It's and even the ones with Magic, you could see in his eyes and the way that he delivered those shows with you, how he was so into it and it was his life, and he was telling it so proudly and happily. And I think it's a full credit to you. I think you've done, an amazing job yourself, Ashman.
Good on you. Good on you. Yeah, no, it's about the people.
You've done an amazing job, and even the old ones with all the old baseball people. Joel Maz was on there, of course.
He was number one. He was the inaugural.
And his mum once drove a car down. No, actually, we better not go down that path on the 100th. But
that's the other Joel, not that one.
But you've done a wonderful job in what you brought forward over the 100 episodes, Ash. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. No, it's been
you've
good.
Done amazing. Yeah.
We've had a lot of people through here, which has been good. You know, as you said, from Joel Maz from the very first one.
Yeah. What was your favourite one of all time?
Favourite one, I think that
I know I'm putting you
ones
on the
that stand out. I think in regards to storytelling,
yes,
was Greg Rogers. He had so much to tell, and he's got so much more to continue talking about. He's got so many stories.
I love that man. Yeah.
But the time he told me when they made him the alcohol supervisor of the platoon, that he was only 18 or 19. He really didn't have his sea legs on for drinking yet, and they drank him to death in the pub. Thought he was dead. We're walking him off to put him in a hole, and he woke up on the way home. So that was a really good one. That was. That one, you just didn't stop laughing and listening. You're intrigued the whole way, just how they worked. And
I love how Greg tells a story.
Yeah.
He's,
so, no, congrats to him. Congrats to all of them anyway. But
well done to everyone. And
Greg Rogers that was a really good one. That was was clear. You also had. Look.
Do you have Bob and Roger on together?
Yeah, that was a good one. Rest in pieces now.
That.
I did watch that one over the weekend, actually. I did turn that on and have a listen because
I wouldn't watch that one over the weekend myself.
That's when we didn't have the video going, and that was unfortunately Bob's Roger's last one there. So.
Well, and look, the one that I liked in that is that there was just two great mates talking. About life and what it means to them. And that's what I mean is what you've done over that 100 shows. It's that you've kept this going for 100 shows of great people coming in and talk about their lives, and, you've done an amazing job putting it all together. And look, I did enjoy some of the Magic ones. He lost me a few times with alien stuff. That's, as I said that to you before, that's not my home territory, but, he
did go down the rabbit hole a few times with plenty of stuff.
He did indeed, but his passion and the way that he did it was terrific. And you've always been a terrific host to get the right questions out of people. So, you've done an amazing job for 99 shows and now 100. So,
well, just think he was 50% of it at the beginning. So, have him on board and, I tip my cap that he didn't get this far down. Excuse me. Didn't get this far down and see the 100th show. Today we're in Utah, like we're in Area 51. That's where we were going on the 100th show. So he's missed out on that one, but...
he's probably there today himself anyway.
He could be there. He could be there with the camo dudes. They'll know he's there. But
well, he was here a couple of weeks ago to shut us down off camera. And
he did turn the camera off early, didn't he?
He didn't like us. So no doubt he's in Area 51 at the moment. There's a fair bit going on in that.
But reflecting on him and that time, as soon as the camera went on, he was up and about. His nice white choppers were out there, and his groomed North Ireland beard sort of shone through, and he was great in front of the camera too. It was very natural for him. But like yourself, he just sort of he ran. He knew what he was talking about.
Yep.
We all get things wrong, but
you'd ask him a question, his eyes would light up, and he'd lean, "Well, Ashman, I've read this and I've watched this," and he was right across it. And
he'd challenge you all the time, though. He'd always put you on the spot, and he'd come back the week later and say, "Sorry, Ashman, you were right." But that's what it's about. And once like this, it's not rehearsed. You're live in front of the camera, so you don't get a second chance at it. You know, what's said is said, and the only time we cull it is if it's too colourful. And generally, as you know, I just play heavy music over the top of it. So it's still not cut. If you're smart, you can actually play around and listen to it under a different sound. But
we've got ourselves in trouble a couple of times, but you've managed to do that with music. But it's, you know, rarely do we do that. But it's the most wonderful thing that I find is that you and I, we don't tend to plan too often. We just sort of say good morning to each other and away we go, and it just flows, you know, and I think that's the beauty of it is that you know, you just generally, I find that people when they talk like that off the top of their head, they're more passionate because they're not making it up, you know, they're just
I think it's so many times I've driven past the pickled duck, and there you are out the front, that I can pick you up and just put you on the spot. Hey, you want to do a podcast? That's that happens 9 times out of 10, doesn't it?
Well, at the minute it does, but that's another issue altogether. But anyway, but
at least you're drinking eggs and bacon there, not beers, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, we didn't have too much to eat, but no, look, it's terrific what this has brought over 100 shows, and you know, I'm sure you've got a lot of joy out of it as well over in the last 100 shows.
Fun.
And
good fun talking to people. I love listening to people's stories out of anything else.
Or even, you know, it's just some of the baseball diamond stories. You know, I was going back watching that, and you sort of think, wow, it's so many experiences that you love to hear about. So
well, we've had Gav Payne on here as well. You know, he's an interesting fella.
Forgot his second daughter.
That's right. Yeah, there you go.
He forgot his
I've
second
made lots
daughter,
of mistakes, for sure.
That was a funny one. I think he's still trying to live that down at the minute, the big fella. But in fact, he'll kill me for mentioning that again. But you know, those funny moments as well, when you sort of said to him, you know, don't you have a second daughter? And they're, oh, well, yeah, I do. Well,
never knew, Gav.
Yeah.
Never
knew. So, yeah, no, those sort of funny moments that pop up as well. And Gav was, he doesn't enjoy public speaking, but he was good on here as well.
I remember when Mr. Conroy was on here, and we'd finished the podcast, and we were out there just on the tennis court having a beer afterwards, having a chat. And then Scotty walks off towards the house there on the northern end, and the trailer was there.
Oh.
So at that stage, he was walking out to, Lisa had come to pick him up.
Oh.
All of a sudden we heard, oh! Bang, he's hit the trailer.
Oh, no.
He's gone arse over dingo onto the floor. Lisa had the headlights on coming down the drive and could see this tall red-headed man spill over the trailer. So she thought that he'd been pushed.
Oh.
So in the end, we could hear the trailer move like feet, and then he fell over as well. So by the time he got up, all his pants were ripped and everything. So
jeez.
It wasn't until the next day I rang him in the morning and said, how'd you go? He said, I ended up in hospital. He'd done 3 ribs on one side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was a beauty, that one.
Wow.
Was
he running or what was he doing?
I think because his leg stopped and his motion was still moving forward.
Yeah.
He couldn't untangle his legs and get his torso back, and over he went.
Pants undone, ribs
in the
broken.
Dark, ripped all his pants, ripped all his leg open.
And of course he wouldn't have been swearing.
All we heard was, so over he went, and then he'd gone. So after that, it wasn't until the next day I found out he ended up in hospital. So
had he had a couple?
Oh, he would have had 6.
6? So Lisa would have loved that as well, wouldn't she?
He couldn't drink very well anyway. He was a bit like a yank.
Oh, was he? Bit lightweight.
I can't drink properly.
Bit lightweight. My problem is when I get on the cans with you, we usually have 7 or 8, and that for me is the equivalent of 24. So I remember...
Turns into an Uber.
Well, it does, and I also get home and then wake up the next day in the same outfit that I came up here in.
You wake up at 5 and think it's tomorrow, and it's still this afternoon.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, hello, we're back Sunday. No, hang on, it's Monday. You're running late for work. So, no, but look, always good times when we come up here. But
no, we also had the just reflecting. It's a good one to reflect on. We had Bowzan and his old mate working down there at the Lions Gate, and the stories that you hear from down there are just incredible. You know, that was, say, 5,000 people there or 8,000 people. I can't remember how many people. But, you know, the stories he used to talk about with the food cafe, and all the girls would love him, so they'd give him more food, and like it was all a big deal, you know. But
Joe wouldn't be short of a story either, I wouldn't have thought.
No, that's right. He's got the biggest ring going around, hasn't he, on his fingers? But no, he was a good one.
Thank God you tidied that up.
He's always got plenty of stories to talk about.
Yeah,
so.
and look, you know, Conroy would have a few life stories, I would imagine, floating around. That is, but yeah.
So he says, "Hang on a minute, I've still got one more story to tell you."
Yeah.
So he's a good one for storytelling. He does. He does also like to use the.
I reckon half of them didn't take place. That's okay.
What do you call it when you use a describing word for a word?
An adjective, is it?
Or whatever. You know, you change
know.
the word. Instead of saying Sunday, you say Sontag. What's that called?
I'm not sure. You've got me. I was going to say palindrome, but that's Glenelg.
Something like that. You know what I mean? He always brings in a few extra words in there, which is really cool, which is unique to him. So, Supercoach, good one. You were a good one as well.
He was a good one. And of course, you've had famous people like Dipper and
Maddy Burns. Maddy Burns
you know.
got drunk on the train in Chicago. So
right,
he'd gone and befriended a bloke and his son from America somewhere, and the game had finished, and he'd had obviously a few red cans, and he got on the train and ended up falling asleep, passing out on the train, and woke up in the restricted area where the white fella don't go.
Oh,
and he woke up there, and this dude looked at him and said, "Hey man, you shouldn't be here." And they helped him out, and they walked him down underneath. He thought he was gone, and they put him back on the train and sent him back.
Wow.
Only Burner could get away with that one, couldn't he?
Well, I had a similar thing in LA when I was over there playing baseball. We went down into the coach said to us, "For God's sake, don't go downstairs after dark." So we went downstairs because we're 18. We thought we were tougher than anything, so we thought we'd have a go. So we went downstairs, and bugger me, we've come across an African American gang. So we had to quickly talk ourselves out of that. We had no idea who we were or what we were. Yeah, oh mate, it was absolutely got back, and the jeans were brown on the inside. There would have been a pretty scary moment. Scary moment. But we ended up getting back to the hotel. So, but you don't want to get in those wrong areas of America. But
the red light districts, you want to stay away from there. But we've all done it. We've all accidentally walked into. Yeah, even in San Francisco when we went there, we walked through the area where all the junkies are called the Tenderloins.
Yep.
And that was like 4 streets back to back to back to back, and that was scary to walk through there because they were just zombies, man. They were real bad, and we had to walk through that. And they shit there. They do everything. It's fairly bad.
Oh God.
They're all nude. Half of them are nude with their guts hanging out and their vulvas. You know what I mean? And
don't drop your credit card.
Yeah. But, that was a good one. Who else do we have? We had...
You've had a ton of people. I went through it on the weekend. You've had lots of... One that we haven't had, and I think that needs to come up in the future, is the Paymaster.
Yeah. We'll get him on here.
We haven't had the Paymaster yet. I reckon he'd be a good one to talk to. He could talk us through what you're doing to Thailand with ping pong balls and all sorts of things. And
that's why I don't let her out after midnight. What did I tell you, darling? Get back in the bedroom.
40 love. So he'd be a good one to have on. But you've had quite a lot of people, and all of them have been terrific. And like I say, the one thing that you've got the ability to do is that even if they're people that are quiet and don't generally like to put themselves out, you just get them talking, and it's a great gift that you've got to make the show keep going.
You know, it's funny when you put these headphones on, you connect to then only that person in the room. If there's more, then you connect to all those people in the room.
Yep.
You know, look at Peter Remfrey. He's been there from the beginning, and the Stingray. He's been on
Give
quite
him a round of applause.
Mr. Kelvinator, Mr. Whirlpool. He's done every white goods factory in Adelaide. But that's the special people. You know, you look at Pete. He hadn't been out of the country until only a couple of years ago when he went to Crete.
Oh, hadn't he? I didn't know that.
So,
right.
But he'd worked for every white goods company.
Yeah.
He'd done it all. And then at some stage his missus won a Cadbury chocolate competition.
Oh, hello.
They get to fly around every state in a plane, and they get all the goods and whatever.
Yeah,
so
right.
they had 2 or 3 days, I think, that
Well,
they were
nice.
flying around. And
Nice.
I think he said he landed the plane somewhere in Alice Springs or whatever. So he would have got a medal for that as well. He wins everything.
Oh, he's one of the world's great ones. I think he should be in charge of this Iran conflict currently.
Same here.
He's a Stingray, but he was a good one. Like, I mean, I can't think of where I've been watching them going through, and I can't think of a bad one really. You've been quite fortunate that even the people that haven't been really out there, they have put on a good show.
Look at the Liv Trembath one. That was a good one.
Yeah,
she's a Kiwi, as we know, and
yes.
She's had some fairly difficult health issues over her life, and
yes.
To run through all that with her, we were out here for 5 hours, chatting away. It was unreal. So, it's good, and it's good. We also had the girls out here with Apple. Apple, where is she now? Behind us, I think.
Yes.
But, we had Michelle and Michaela here as well. The girls offer it's a whole different concept altogether.
Oh, and look, Michelle, she said that she didn't give a round of applause, the two girls, and Liv. The thing that Michaela and Michelle said, they didn't really want to do one. They just loved listening to it. But when you listen back to their show as well, they were really good and came out of their Michelle's. Thank you. Boom, boom. They put on a really good show. So, as I say, I think that's been the great thing, is that people have been able to wander in and get stuff off their chest and talk about their lives. So, full credit to you and what you've done for 100 shows.
Thank you. I think once again it's there for the people. The joy I get out of it is, if you want to come on, you don't have to say shit. You don't have to.
Yeah.
If you want to come and have some fun, and as you know, I always have a couple of beers while we're doing it. That's part of the joy of it for me. Is if I don't have a beer, I'd be miserable. Like I want to have a beer and listen to people's stories and take it all in. And
yeah.
Each week, you just get more and more information, and we're this Just Talk podcast that you and I now are doing, and now we've done probably 25, 30 together now. So now you start to build another relationship up. You start to build, it's good. You don't know me, I don't know you. There's always stuff that everybody learns along the way, and you go, oh, really? Okay, your dad was a pilot, really? Rah. Yeah. My
like hot girls.
My dad was a draftsman,
Yeah, your dad was a draftsman.
So, he taught Chris Dittmar how to play squash down at Alberton, mate. There's all these little stories. I got trophies out in the bar the back there from Alberton Squash Club.
Dittmar, yeah, he was pretty good at squash, just quietly.
He eventually got to number one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and your dad taught him. Well, there you go.
Helped teach him down there, down at Alberton Squash Club, which I don't even know if it's still there anymore, is it?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been down to Alberton.
It's probably a coffee shop now.
Port aren't winning, so I don't go down to Alberton. Probably a coffee shop or a high rise or something like that down there, because they've got a fair few high rises going down there, the port at the moment. But
Joel Maz did text yesterday saying he did give me an update on the other game that I missed before. They lost 7-6 or 6-5, whatever that one was.
Yes, 7-6, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know really how they lost that one, but they didn't bat. This year they're batting. We'll get into that shortly. We won't punch on it. But I think if we just go on a little bit further with, this 100 episode now, as I said, the girls, it's great to have the girls on board because they offer such a different dynamic, and, you see through the lens completely different to the bloke-on-bloke chat that's masculine and, it's manly and rah.
Yeah, especially ours.
Whereas with the girls, you see a little bit more of the femi side that you don't always see. So
I think it's good to mix it up. And, Well,
the passion's still the same, isn't it? It's...
Well, and like you said, it's about finding out about people as well. And, you go up the baseball club or wherever you go and you speak to people, but... Often it's about how did your game go or what you got on tomorrow for lunch or whatever. And, tend to delve into people's lives too much, So I think that's where this has been so good, is that, you didn't know Michelle had 3 pet cats at home called Ian, you find out stuff and you go, oh, wow, so little things like that where you can just find out about people as well. And that gives another conversation piece for, next time you're at the club. I saw you on Ash's podcast. You've got a brother called Jeff who's a stunt pilot or whatever. It opens up those conversations. So it's a tool for that side of it as well, I think.
And the night we had all the medalists here, we had Brooksy and we had Scotty and we had what's his name? Burnsy's mate.
Oh, Dipper.
Dipper. We had Dipper on here.
Yeah,
we had the 3 of them here and that was such fun. Just to wear the medal, I think there were 8 medals in the room. And, like the one thing I still bring up every week is what Brooksy said. Part of winning's dealing with losing. That's such a good thing you can take into every part of your life, into your home life, your business life, and your sporting life. You're not going to be up all the time, and most of the times you get your ass kicked, and that's where you learn. That's the lesson.
I was sitting on a bench next to Brooksy one day during a game, and we were losing, and someone said, "Oh, I'm so sick of losing, and you got to lose." And, oh, we're bloody losing again, or something along those lines. Anyway, Brooksy, they looked at Brooksy and he said, "Don't worry about me." He said, "I've won plenty over the years." He said, so I've done my fair share of winning, and now part of the time is losing, and that's just what baseball is. And so, yeah, it was such a grounded sort of view of it that, it's sport. You get to the ground, what's going to happen? Don't know. So, but Brooksy, one thing I've always admired about him is how hard he just played the game.
He just knows the game. He's like Rogers. It's... there's very little in front of him that he's not prepared for. If there's a bunt put down the third base line, well, he knows that either third's coming in or he knows where everyone should be. Yep. And when you're not at his level, that's where you question yourself and go, oh, geez, I'm exposed here,
The only thing you don't want to do is make an error when you're fielding next to him.
Oh,
my God, I got told he gave me a barreling a couple of times.
It's good. You get a wake up.
There was one where the ball, I was feeling a second, he was shortstop, and he said to me, double play. And I said, all right, no worries. So the ball comes to me on the ground and I'm fumbling like it's ice cream. I can't pick it up, fumbling around. And I'm still trying to underarm it, and he's standing on the base already going, when you've got it. And so, anyway, I got it out to him. The runner slid in and just made it safe. I didn't get it to him in time. And he said, you meant to just pick that up once, and whatever. But he was ripping me. And that was my first ever game with him. I thought, geez, who's this bloke? But a couple of games later, I played for you and filled in for you and pitched, and we did all right against a very strong Henley team. And he was the first one to walk off and said, you're doing a really good job today, good on you, sort of thing. So
what comes out of here?
Yeah, so I've got a very high respect for him. He knows about the game. He knows what's about to happen out on the diamond. He's very clever in that regard, but he plays the game to a very hard standard, fair, but yeah, he wants to win. You know that.
And Tibbo, we had Tibbo on here. Yep. He was originally from up Alice Springs. I think he was born in Alice Springs and ended up playing his early baseball up in the Northern Territory, and then he come down to our favourite team there at
Lockleys.
On Rutland Avenue.
Avenue. Oh God! Hang on, don't mention that.
And he can back it up. I saw him throw a ball from third to first once, and this thing just tailed into first, probably into Rogers. And I looked at it. I went, imagine having an arm like that. It was such joy. Phil Hirchhausen's the same. To see these calm players. Clayson from America when he was over here, Marty Hall, all those guys, you see how they seem to have more time to make plays than they've got.
Well, Phil,
because they're so organised.
Phil still plays shortstop.
He's terrific, bloke. We still play golf with him. He's as good at golf as he's baseball anyway.
He coached about 9 teams this year, amazing guy. But I was umpiring in the finals for Divi 4 and 6, and he's telling people where to go and where to sit before each pitch and what has to happen was spot on. And he just got that game sense about him that you go, well... And then there was one where he sort of went to backhand it and it was a bit deep in the hole and it got away from him. And he was harder on himself than I've seen a lot of people, because he'd positioned himself back. He knew where the guy was going to hit it and it still got away from him. So he was pretty harsh on himself. But just listening to him out in the middle talk to the younger players and his knowledge that he was passing on to them of what's going to happen next in the game was just bloody invaluable. So, yeah, I really enjoyed being out in the middle.
Just thinking back too, we had young Taylor Hood that played guitar up here.
Oh, yep. Yep.
Old Hoodie's daughter up here, she was just starting off with her music, with her acoustic guitars, and she did 3, 4 or 5 songs in here in the studio here in the back room, and I interviewed her way back. She was probably the youngest person I'd ever had on here, and I was probably more nervous than she was. It was, and she's gone on with her music at this stage. She's still doing that. So,
have you? Is there anyone you thought I'd like to have them on, and then they came on and you thought, oh, gee, that wasn't a great idea?
Nah.
I know that's a tough one, but...
Yeah, nothing sticks out at the moment.
Because looking back, they all look good. They all look like they went well.
Yeah, I haven't... No, I've never had one of those guests that wants to... No. I had Ash Norton on here, who is a building developer here.
Yes.
He used to ride sprint bikes in the UK from Australia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was a speedway racer, and
you
you could, if you farted, you knock him over. He's that small, He's 5'10" and weighs probably 48 kegs,
Yeah.
But he's a mentor to men as well. He's probably been one of the nicest interviews where it was just calm. It was probably on the low side of entertainment, but it was actually so good to interview him. Or listen to his story more than anything
that's
else.
right. Yeah, and the information you got out of that was probably quite amazing. You went, wow. And, sometimes you can invite someone on and, you go, oh, gee, that might be a bit quiet, might struggle to get something out of them. But like that one is a quiet one, but at the same time, you've got pretty good bloody information coming out of it. So, and you get to enjoy it. So,
absolutely.
It's been, as I say, I've watched most of them. I do enjoy watching them just to learn about different people, and certainly some people have gone to different places that you didn't expect. I didn't even know that Magic was into his aliens, and by the end of it, I sort of found out that was what his life was about. I
think he was an alien.
Yeah, well, I think he was, but I didn't want to raise that. But he was really, really great. And when I went up the club, and one day I saw his first one that he did with you about aliens. I'll never forget him and he used to grumble at me rather than talk to me because I was in charge of the club and he didn't like the management. But I said to him, I enjoyed your podcast about the aliens, and this is what I'm saying. It got us talking as well. And he got right into it, and that gave us like an hour conversation where previously it had been probably a minute 30. So that's what I'm saying. I think that the way that you've done this to have people learn about each other, you can sort of go up there and say, hey, Scotty, saw you, and geez, that was bloody great, and you know about the aliens, don't you? Well, let me tell you. So he was, it's been quite amazing to watch those through, and. Well, I mean, 100, you got to wonder, where you get to, 20,000, 30,000?
Well, I think, it's taken 6 years to get 100 out.
Yeah.
And I never thought we'd even get close to 100. We had the Arctic Pros here one night.
Oh, right.
One Friday afternoon, a whole load of Reese's buddies.
Oh, nice.
They were named after an esky.
Yeah. Were they?
Boom, boom, the Arctic Pros. So
nice.
They were great. They're footy players, and they all walked out of here with a hoodie each.
Nice.
They were, it was excellent. It was 46 degrees. It was one of the hottest shows here, and all of them walked out. And we've had some come down from the Tutri Gully Hotel, and we've done booze-fueled ones here as well, like just like straight in, set the mics up, talk away. You know, they're good. We've also had Josh Atkinson from Reese's mate that went to the Whistler in Canada.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
he did 2 full terms here. He stayed there for two years. So he was the longest-serving guy from Adelaide that had done everything from playing music in the Hilton bar with the ploughed, the ploughed hoodies on that came from Adelaide, and they were selling ploughed gear while they were there. They were getting printed from Vancouver. And
nice.
No, they had a ball there, and it was great, to hear the stories about how the bears come in and, when they wake up, they're skinny as, and
really?
by the time, the end of the season, they've eaten, they're getting fat again to get ready to have a sleep. But you had to be careful,
A bit like me at Easter.
If these, with the jockeys. But if the bears came into town, they'd put them to sleep and take them out underneath.
Really?
Yeah, they put them down because they have a memory reset then that they want to go and find food.
Right.
So once they're in there that's really their death call, which is a shame. But
I never knew
they
that.
euthanize them. Yeah, they get rid of them. Otherwise, they become a pest, and they just want to go back because they know where the food is then, you see.
Wow.
So
okay.
Tick them, tack them, get rid of them.
But I mean, even like that, there's information that you didn't know.
Oh, Roundhouse. They go up to the Roundhouse. That's where they worked for the first season. Reese then became a tollie, so he was on the chairlifts then.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot of Aussies in Vancouver. There's a lot of Aussies in Whistler. It's probably something like 70% of the workforce is Aussies because it's only 14 hours up the road from Sydney.
Right.
And you're there in Vancouver.
Yep.
So if you're going to go to Europe, you're sort of really more like 25, 30 hours by the time you get off one plane, get another one. This one you can go straight to Vancouver. You're there. You can be home in a day.
Wow.
So you can leave overnight on a Friday night and be back in Adelaide on Saturday morning.
Yeah, okay. Hadn't thought of it like that.
So it's pretty good. And I think that's the attraction is it's that close. It's just our eastern seaboard and their western seaboard. And, this year was the shittiest year on record, I think. They got no snow.
Oh, didn't they?
Nah, very, very little.
Yeah. So what's that, Mother Teresa?
I think so. She's just
Mother
square.
Nature
She's blessing the dry ground, yeah.
Mm. Do you know Elton John wrote a song for Mother Teresa?
What was it?
Well, he did Candle in the Wind for Diana, as we all remember, and he did Sandals in the Bin for Mother Teresa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then he did Hanging in the Wind for John Denver. So anyway,
well, he was advised not to fly that day. God, he's I got a mate that's
like Kobe Bryant.
Got a fairly large business, and I said to him once, I said, "Hey, mate, just make sure you don't exceed really what you're capable of."
Yeah, yeah.
You get a lot of these people that have low restrictions and think they can fly planes and do whatever else, jump off shit. You've got to be careful. Like it's over in a flash. You fuck up, it's gone. It's all done.
Kobe Bryant, he's played.
There you go. Well, he was advised as well, and he took his freaking daughter and still
exactly.
And Shirley Strawn's another one. Did exactly the same thing.
Oh, did he?
Was advised not to fly.
Right.
Thought he'd fly anyway and killed himself. So
that made him a skyhook.
In the end, yeah. In the end, he was a real skyhook in the end. But all those things, you hear all the Buddy Holly stories, and they all flew in shit weather.
Yeah.
When you got shit weather, you take a train. You just get there a bit later.
Oh, I flew with my dad once in Sydney, and he was flying it. He was flying it, and I was in the seat at the back. The I can't remember what they used to call it. Anyway, sit just at the back of the pilots, and holy hell, she's smashing the windscreen with water and hail and whatever, and we're bouncing all over the shop. And I remember just saying to him, "You've got this, haven't you? Like, you brought your son on this. You've got it, haven't you?" So I remember him looking back at me, just staring at me with anger, going, "What do you think I'm?"
He said, "Nice beaver. Hey, get out of here."
Yeah,
look at there. There's a plane going over now.
Wowzers.
That's your dad listening.
Wowzers, that is.
Hey, how good.
Jeez, we had Scotty last time. Now we got Jimbo.
Good. Cheers, Jimbo.
Yeah, cheers to you, son. But he got us down, and obviously, and yeah. No, look. So coming back to the show, what Was there any that surprised you? Like you got them on and you thought, gee, I don't think I'll get much out of this. And it all of a sudden it just came to life and you thought, well, shit, this is all right.
You got
This
me on
is
the
all right.
spot now, big time.
Yeah.
Keep talking. Let me think about it.
Because with these sort of shows, there always is. Like I watch Joe Rogan podcast and you think, oh, guy talking about vaccines would be boring. But then he goes into COVID and how they all made so many millions of people sick and what should have been banned and what shouldn't have been. So that becomes, and he comes to life with it and you sort of think, well, gee, that's way better than what I thought it would be. But, I mean, obviously, it's probably a little bit of a disrespectful question because you would,
no, it's not. It's
you
not
would
at
obviously think that most people would be good. That's why you have them on. But I'm just thinking if there was one that really you thought, gee, that really, perhaps it was the Liv one where you found out so much and you got to spend hours with her talking about it, or
she still had the ability to talk, so she was good
Yeah,
anyway. It's the ones where you have to keep prompting to keep that worm from falling because, as soon as you stop her, it becomes boring. People turn it off. So the whole idea of the whole exercise is to make it fun, keep it up and about. To answer your question, I've been lucky all the way through that.
Yeah.
Most of the people, as you know, like from time to time, you were with Gav, so you and Gav bounced off each other, which made it a lot easier. Sometimes you think that, the likes of...
well, he's artistic and I'm autistic. I think people describe it that way.
you got Bob and Roger as well.
Yeah.
Bob takes a long time.
His wife Jerry was a showgirl.
The absolutely beautiful girl from Adelaide. So if you have a look at some people take a long time to explain it, and then you've got Roger that just goes, old Primey, he laughed all the time,
And that was the beauty of him. You didn't need him to say a lot of words. You just need him to.
And he knew his shit. He was like Conroy. He could just remember, and he knew the dates and he knew everything in line.
Oh, he said to me when I got to Dodgers, I've been asking you to come here for 10 years. On the 11th of September 2003, I asked you or whatever else, and I was like, gee, where's Ed? The hell did you know that? So then he took me down to the water tank down near behind the dugout and wanted to wash the Kensington out of me. So that was...
That's fair enough.
He got a bit of a giggle over that. So he had a bit of a laugh. And
Good.
He was unbelievable, that fella. And, I was... One of the honours of my life was getting to speak at his funeral and, do that. That was quite an honour to do that because he was an amazing man to so many people, so many people.
There's been lots of good people through here, which has made it easy for me just to give them somewhere where they can just tell their story and... Brian Hemming, he was with Fisheries SA. He was a great one, and he's still ongoing. He's had 2 or 3 goes at it now. And
where did you first originally come up with the idea to do this? That's a question I've been meaning to ask you.
Well, it really started up the club. It really. I said to Magic, I said we should do just an interview show after the game on Saturdays.
Yep.
And this was way back when. This was before cameras and anything. Like we had the phones, and we thought, oh yeah, we could do something. And Scotty Cox-Hill back there, the paymaster back then said, you two whackers should go and do a podcast. And it was one Sunday I was having a beer down the back on the lawn there, down near the other studio, and I rang Magic up and I said, hey Magic, I've got this idea. You like UFOs, don't you? And he said, oh, Whitey. And I said, I'm a UFOer as well. I said, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
So I said, well, why don't we call it Two Drunk Aliens and we'll do a podcast?
Yeah.
Bang, and it grew from there.
So that's where it all started.
That was the second part. The original
Yeah.
part, we still started with the sports one. What was it? I can't even remember the first one. What was that called?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
I can't remember the first.
Doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
So
The first series, anyway. The first series we did with all the the baseball players. And all
Right,
that.
so that's where she originated.
That's where it started.
Right.
And we got up to 11
Yep.
interviews, and then we went on to Two Drunk Aliens.
Wow. And then we were at Just Talks.
No, they were all videos.
Yeah,
They were all videos, those
No,
ones.
I mean, now we're doing the Just Talk ones as well on top of that as well.
And then the
so,
Just Talk ones,
yeah.
now they've really taken over from there and taken
Yeah.
it to the next level. It's gone to a more of a radio quality type broadcast now.
Even when the camera runs out, I thought we still did well. But
Well, we started on our phones. Like it used to take 7 hours
Wow.
to download 2 phones, put them onto a laptop, and then someone had to go through and turn one volume on, one volume off for the whole video.
Goodness me.
And then it would take like 2.5, 3 hours to render.
Yep.
And if you had a blackout, you lost the whole lot and you had to start again.
God.
And I had my lad Reese doing it after Locke did it after Reese went to Vancouver, brother Locke. And once again, it was still at risk of all. Yeah, while we were working, we had the laptop in the car
Oh, wow.
rendering. So, the risk back then, like
Yeah.
now it's quite easy. We've got enough systems that are, sort of, we need another camera, which we'll get down the track. But at this stage, even with the new laptop, the laptop's like 85 times quicker than the old one. Every day with the IT, everything gets quicker. And simpler to use. That's
yeah.
with the if you're not computer based to start with, if you grew up with that, you got some idea. Luckily, I just had enough claw grabs to keep me going with it, to try to produce it. Because when Reese went to Vancouver and Locke was working, I had to learn. Here you go, jump in the deep end and learn.
Yeah.
And
And you're crossing everything you got, trying to hope that it works.
And now that you learn, you start to
Yeah,
influence your personality into the production.
Yep.
And then, once again, my personality is to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So the whole idea now is I put as much bullshit in there as I can to just appease me. You know what I mean? So, if you can get videos in there or content of pictures or whatever.
Or adverts
or
of the
music.
Fox and Firkin. Or,
Yeah.
But so on average, just to give people an idea, you're saying that was 7 hours back in the day. How long does it take you to sort of put something together these days? Just as
2 hours now.
2 hours?
Yeah, a couple
So it's
hours.
come a long way.
Yeah, YouTube would take probably the best part of 40. For an hour's content, you'd probably do, probably 40, 50 minutes to upload that.
Yep.
And then that would scrutineer it. And it still doesn't promise that you're going to get it up on YouTube. It still can tell you, no, you've breached this or breached that. Luckily, we're in an adult's content that allows us to say a few swear words or talk about bottoms or something, But you still got to be pretty careful, how far off track you go, because once you get whacked, you don't come back.
Well, the thing is that so many different platforms like X or Facebook or what have you are banning people, from different platforms because they're getting political with stuff. And that's where we've been fairly trying to not go down different routes because
we
you
say
can get yourself
allegedly
into-
most of the time.
Don't we? Yeah. So that gets us out of trouble. But there's been more and more people banned from things, and just for saying the wrong thing. Apparently, allegedly, we'll say allegedly again. There, I heard the other day that if you are on YouTube and you put a video on, if you actually hum the song "Cocaine,"
is that right?
if you actually hum, there we are, the 100th. If you actually hum
They'll flag you.
They'll flag cocaine even if you're humming it, and they'll ban you. So you've got to be very, very careful. And we do quite a good job. I think there's a couple of different paths we could have gone down over the time, but we sort of pull ourselves back a bit.
I was in Dublin.
And we get feedback.
I was in Dublin, Ireland, and I put up a short little video composition of when we did our island trip.
Yep.
And I went through everywhere where we went. I just narrated a little bit of stuff about it.
Yes.
And then when we got back into one of the pubs in Dublin, there was a guy playing acoustics in there.
Oh.
His music was in the background and I got flagged.
Oh.
I got flagged. I got
Wow.
I got a warning saying
Wow.
one more and you're gone. And
Wowzers.
because his music had a copyright on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And because it was in the background, and I didn't really think it was going to be a big deal thing.
Yeah.
Bang, it shut me down.
Well, they reckon that it's just
Bang.
getting tighter and tighter. Like,
I can understand if you're using it for your gain to make money, but he was a background sound. But once again, you've breached copyright. So anything with music, don't go near it. It's not even worth the hassle.
well, as I said, even cocaine on YouTube.
Don't hum it, don't sing it.
Someone had hummed the song. Now, we're probably going to get banned for this show now when you go to put it through for saying the word of the song, I suppose. But, he hummed it and he's no longer allowed on YouTube, which is extraordinary. So, it's all getting tighter. The world's getting tighter, isn't it, with jokes that you're allowed to tell and all those sort of things. But I think for the fun we have and the enjoyment we get out of this, I think it's better to stay down that straight line of just, perhaps not going too overboard with it all, like, doing a nude show or anything like that.
No, I think also you don't talk names and you don't talk business either. You can talk about the smelter and everything else.
Yes.
But if you use words that obviously what the
company name
the internet is looking for to try to black ban you, well,
yes,
you just try to stay away from it. And if you say something about somebody, then it's only alleged. It's not something coming from here or where you can't go down that track because it's just too politically correct and you'll get smacked every time.
You've managed to get through 100 episodes, so that's...
we haven't got there yet. It's 99.
Yeah, actually, we haven't got through for today's yet.
I'll get bit on the arse today.
Oh, gee, I hope not. But
every time I go to produce it says it's taking longer than normal. And I'm thinking, you bastards.
Well, the fact we've dropped that other word, we'll probably get held up for a bit. But look,
think so.
It's with the characters that you've had on, it's amazing that you've been able to get through that cleanly without having them banned because there's been a few characters in there that
there's been a few through there. No, it's been wonderful with everyone. We have lost a couple of brothers on there, and that's very important because that's what this medium's here for. Is that if people want to listen to their friends or parents or whatever that have died. At least there's a medium here that you can still, for the rest of your life, get onto YouTube and hear their voice.
I loved watching Roger the other day, just having a giggle every time, and you sort of think, happy. "Oh, gee, that was great." And
he's such a role model.
And even with Magic again, I know we've spoken about him quite a bit, but he was quite integral to the show. And watching him back the other day. You asked him a question at one point, and he sat forward, and his eyes went up, and away he went. And that will always be forever on YouTube for people to go and admire. And if they're missing Magic or whatever, they think we'll go and see.
Dave Fowler on the Sunshine Coast. He's my son's father-in-law, and g'day to the nude window up there. They make curtains for lovely, expensive houses. They've got a real nice business there, and they live in Budrum up there, which we've just got back from a few weeks ago.
You've had a good time the last couple of weeks.
They've done 3. They've come down and experienced the Gully Hotel. You got the Fox and Firkin. There's a lot of good pubs. You got the Blue Gums. You got the Golden Grove Tavern. You got the
Modbury Plaza. We better mention that, a major sponsor of the Dodgers.
Yeah, absolutely. You go through. What's the guy in the bottle load called?
James, the manager there. I don't know the bottle guy. I don't go. Obviously, I don't buy.
I meet him a couple of times a week, but when I rock up, he says, "Can't Reds." Thank you very much.
You could bloody have him on.
He'd be all right, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So, because publicans and people like that have always got good stories. But, look, it's been an amazing journey, 100 episodes.
100's fantastic.
You've done really well, and it's can't wait to see who else you'll have on in the future. A few more ladies to mix it up, as you say, I guess, along the way. And
absolutely.
Perhaps an Anne Christensen could be
that'd be nice. I have put it out to Anne a few times, so...
Anne would have a couple of stories because she's lived a great life. So
once she gets her time back, she might have a bit of time to do it. But
so
she's a busy girl. Love her to pieces.
Isn't
She's such a
she?
good person.
She makes that place run up there, so she does a fantastic job. But no, look, well done to you. I know we're sort of come towards the hour now, but just on behalf of people that you've had on and people that have watched, thanks to you, you've done an amazing job with it, and you brought that to people's lives. So congratulate you to be congratulated on that.
There's lots of people I've missed, but it's certainly a great achievement to get to the first 100.
Yeah. Yep.
8 to the people we've lost along the way.
Absolutely.
It's a shame you didn't get here with us, but you have in a way anyway been on record here with us. So I think
absolutely.
it's that's what it's about. And I think that if we can record history and we can record this part of life, whilst you've got the internet and while you've got YouTube, you can still go and watch whatever series you want. There's 100 now you can look at. It's something that I love doing. It's such a joy. I get into people. I nag people a little bit too much. Shawnee probably gets nagged a bit.
Not at all. I'd love it. So whenever
I
you
need
message,
a podcast, but
when you don't message, I'm more looking outside the window waiting for you to call. So it's been terrific fun for me
good.
as well. So.
We've left this one alone from every other sort of noise out there. There's a lot of noise. We want to make this a good one for the 100 and just reflect on the time we've had here.
No,
as
terrific.
A collective group. As I said, let's go back to Stingray. How many cars has he parked out the front here for all those early podcasts, Greg?
Well, we might get to see him Anzac Day again, hopefully, Stingray. But,
we got April 25 coming up pretty soon, haven't we?
Yeah, so that should be an exciting day, and Stingray will know about be up to his best behaviour. If we got the footy on, barracking for Collingwood as he does, he loves his Collingwood Magpies, Stingray.
He hates them, so I think that we'll make sure the beer's not up at the RSL. Make sure we taste 8 or 9 of those before we get back, and look at survival up to the first bounce. After that, we try to get some sort of sausage sizzle down here.
Speech becomes difficult.
To prop us up a bit. So, but by the time the footy starts, the beers are back on again, and
we're asleep by then.
It's an absolute cracker. It's I give Pete the keys, I go to bed, and he locks up when he goes. But
we went to go home last year. He was going to drive me home. I thought that was a bit worrying, but it's.
Hey, we're at 100.
Well done to you, Ash.
Thank you, mate.
Well done to you, mate. Terrific.
You've been a great help here with me as well, so I appreciate your effort.
No, it's been I've really, really enjoyed it, and hopefully we've got plenty more to come. And on behalf of everyone, thanks to you, big fella. It's you've done an amazing job.
Thank you, Shawnee. Thank you, guests.
Thanks, mate.
And
we'll catch you later, hopefully.
Hey, fancy going to 100, eh? That's not bad.
100. Yeah. Done.
No, thanks to everyone.
In the book.
It's been so much fun, and can't wait for the next lot.
Cannot wait. We'll see you soon, hopefully, folks.
This has been a Milne Road Studios production. Thanks, Shawnee.
Bye, mate.